This could be the best recipe you cook in your JetBoil. We've got 4 ingredients. We've got water, pack of beef jerky, pack of brown gravy mix, and the final ingredient, a potato. Yes, I actually packed a potato, and I think you can too. Let's get cooking. But cook with your JetBoil. You can do it. And it's totally worth it. Hey, Chef Corso, Outdoor Eats. I'm here to put you on the path to amazing meals on your outdoor treks, and it's you, me, a potato, and the Chattahoochee River. The raging, majestic Chattahoochee River just outside of Atlanta. There are places that it is rushing a little bit more. It's been pretty dry here this season, so this is what we've got here today. Nice little winter, fall day here. So we are cooking on a JetBoil here today. And if you guys are not actually cooking with your JetBoil, why not? You should. You don't have to just boil water and add it to a bag. You can actually cook with it because you have fire, you have a pot, you can make some really great things. So we are gonna cook up one of my favorites, which is, the recipe is called meat, potatoes, and gravy, because that's what it is. It is beef jerky, it is a potato, and it is beef jerky. If you don't want to pack a potato or a couple small potatoes, you could easily use instant mashed potatoes for your journey. Going to be a little bit different eating experience. I kind of like having like the chunk of potato in with the mix. So let's set up our JetBoil and do this thing. We're using a Flash here today. Classic option. Get that all nice and secure. Step 1, add your beef jerky. And rip it up into some smaller pieces. I am specifically using peppered here today, so I don't have to pack black pepper. There's a lot of great seasoned jerkies out there that can give you a jump start on flavoring up your dishes, so use that to your advantage. Don't put that in there. And this specific package is 2.85 ounces. Step 2, cut your tater. And you might be like, oh man, I gotta chop it? Oh man, I'd just rather use the instant mashed potatoes. Well, I know a lot of you guys out there will gladly take any excuse to pull out your pocket knife. So this is a great option and a great excuse to be able to do that. And for this, we don't need anything super fancy. They don't need to be exactly the same. They need to be generally about the same size. But smaller pieces cook faster, so up to you on how much you want to whittle on this thing. This is 1 medium-sized potato. Russet to be exact. Have a couple of those little baby creamers, those baby guys. That can work pretty well also. But whatever favorite potato variety you like, just gonna chop that up in there. Great. Step 3, add water. Step 4, turn it on. Right. Put a lid on it. And we are looking for those potatoes to get all nice and soft and our beef jerky to hydrate and all that to get all happy in there. You can add some extra seasonings in here if you like, some garlic powder, whatever spice mixes you want. We are keeping it super basic here today with 4 ingredients. And speaking of 4 ingredients, I do have a 5th. These are dried chanterelle mushrooms that my hunter buddy, foraging buddy, found, dried, and happily gifted them to me. So Corso's getting fancy here by the Chattahoochee with some chanterelle mushrooms. I'm putting in there now so they can start to hydrate and share their flavor. And one thing you might be noticing here as far as an ingredient that I'm not adding is I'm not adding salt. You know, there's plenty of salt in that jerky. You can always add more salt. And I think we're gonna be just fine. We'll taste it and see if we need to add any more. Getting all that goodness down below our water. Getting that up to a boil. Adjust your temperature slightly so we're not completely boiling over. We've been cooking for just about 5 minutes here, and I've been monitoring my heat. You know, JetBoil does a great job of boiling, but maybe sometimes doesn't simmer as well as we would like for some dishes. But for this one, we want it to boil pretty hard until those potatoes are done. So let's check this out here. Nice looking, oh wow, look at that. So the thing with these potatoes, guys, is I know you're hungry and you want to eat this, but a crispy potato is not the same as a soft, fluffy potato. So make sure you cook them all the way through, and you will be rewarded with something super tasty. And just at that point is another minute or two of cooking. So we're looking nice and soft. Well, we got one for the birds there. Awesome. Oh, another one for the birds there. That guy's for the squirrel. And a reminder in here, we have water, a russet potato, beef jerky, and me being a little fancy today, some dried mushrooms. Now it is time to add our brown gravy packet. And I love having these in the pantry because there's got a whole bunch of flavor in there. So you don't have to pack your garlic and your pepper and your bouillon cube. You can definitely do that on some of your trips. It also has starch. So we're gonna kick the heat back on. It's gonna thicken up into the really delicious coating of all of our few ingredients in there. The thing about any of these gravy mixes that you guys find, they all have starch in them, which is good, but they will only reach their full thickening power when they reach a simmer. So you got to get it up to a boil and let it simmer for a second or two to be able to get all that out of there. Oh man, we are bubbling. It's not going to take very long with this smaller pot. Nice. Awesome. So just a few seconds, that gravy thickened up. You get a nice shot of this with the sun. Oh, yes. Meat, potatoes, gravy, mushrooms. Oh, let's give this a try. Yes, we've got meat, potatoes, gravy lunch here by the Chattahoochee River. Let's see how we're doing here. Guys, sometimes you don't need to mess with a good thing. Meat, potatoes, and gravy. There's a real potato and the skin in there. That is really, really good. For salt level, I'm feeling pretty good about this. That peppered beef jerky really seasoned up our whole pot here. There are some seasonings too in that gravy packet as well. But you do you if you want to add more salt. You could also add some French's fried onions. That would add an extra ingredient, crazy. You can also add some baby carrots, a little snap peas for a little more of a stew experience. If you think green vegetables are the devil, then maybe don't put them in here. I like vegetables, they're good. But I really want this experience right now with nothing else. Pure meat, gravy, potato, those mushrooms. Tasting really good too. Thanks, friend. Yep. So guys, if you're not cooking with your JetBoil, you definitely should and you definitely can. Some other tips I can give you for actually cooking in here is cook soups or cook things like this that don't take too much time, but don't maybe make fajitas because you're gonna have to be like putting the peppers and the chicken and all that kind of stuff. You're gonna have to dig all the way to the bottom of the pot here, and this has a tendency to scorch as it sits there for a long time. So don't do that. Make soup, make an elevated ramen, make a tortilla soup, make a beef stew, a chicken stew, whatever you want, but cook with your JetBoil. You can do it. and it's totally worth it. The thing about this recipe too, it's cooked up in about the same amount of time as a packaged meal. Maybe a couple more minutes, but that couple more minutes I was sitting here staring at the river, and that's pretty nice. So get out there, cook something amazing somewhere awesome in any pot or in any JetBoil. You can do it. Hit up outdooreats.com for a bunch of great recipes that I think could help you elevate your meals. Get out there. Boca boca. Hey, hunters out there, use your jerky, use your venison, your bear, your elk. Oh man, that would be so good in here. Eat lunch by a river in Atlanta. Love it. Now, a lot of you guys out there are probably like, oh no, now I have to clean it. What do I do? No way I'm making this recipe. Well, guys, you know, life is super tough sometimes. So I know you've had a tough time, you've had a tough day, and the last thing you want to do is, you know, spend a minute or two doing dishes. But the thing is, it's like they're part of life. Accept it and do this method, and it'll help you out a whole lot. But I think about it too is you're not 10. You're not griping about doing dishes to your mom. You're a grown up. You can do it. I believe in you. Here's how you clean this pot. So first off, you're going to scrape. Get all the last little yummy bits of your meal out of there. And we're going to do the reboil method. So put it back on the burner, nice and secure. And we're going to throw a little bit more water in there and reboil it. Shocker. And what that's going to do, you don't need a whole lot. You don't need a whole lot of time either. Put the lid on it, and what that's going to do is dissipate some of the small bits that are on the bottom, and also that steam is going to hit the side here and really start to loosen up some of our extra gravy and or meat bits. So this takes very, very little time. It takes very, very little effort, and you don't have to pack a sponge. It's really, really easy and a really helpful thing for me when I am cooking in my JetBoil or cooking in other pots in order to speed up the dishes process. But guys and gals, dishes are fine. They are part of life. You can do them. I believe in you. I know they're hard. I know life is hard. Life's really, really hard, but you can do it. Use the reboil method. Yeah, there we go. Let that steam get all the way up and hit those sides. Fantastic. Move my water around on the top to get some of that crumbly bits on the lip here. Thing about this here too, folks, is that we are not looking to get this spick and span 100% clean. We're looking for hiker clean because we're probably going to cook on it again in just a few hours. I'm going to keep working on this, get the last little bits out there, but man, it really, really sped up my dishes process. Make sure you dispose of this water properly. There you go, reboil method. Meat, potatoes, and gravy lunch by the Okie, not the Okefenokee, Chattahoochee. got my Southern Rivers wrong.